hi to Mickey?
It's great to see you, pal. What you been doing today?
Hello, and welcome to the third episode of For What It's Worth Disney. That's FWIW Disney. Today, November 18th, 2019, or, as Disney fans call it, Mickey Mouse's 91st birthday.
And Minnie.
So happy birthday to the one that started it all, and his lady. Way back in 1928, Steamboat Willie, Gallopin' Gaucho, depending on how you choose to look at it. My name is Doobie Moseley. I am the co-founder of LaughingPlace.com. My co-host, the Minnie to my Mickey, is Laughing Place co-founder Rebekah Moseley.
Hiya, pal.
Very nice. And we're happy you've tuned in with us again today. Since we last talked to you, Disney Plus has finally hit the world.
Woohoo!
Or at least our part of the world. So today we're going to be focusing on
It's
what
been a sweet life around here.
Is that right? We're going to be focusing on what we've been looking forward to for a long, long time now, Disney Plus.
So on Monday evening, as the incredibly exciting Monday Night Football game was ending, and I was watching SVP on ESPN and regularly refreshing my Twitter, somebody said Disney Plus had arrived on their Xbox. So very quickly, I ran to my Xbox. I didn't have any Disney Plus. So I hit my phone. It was there on my Google Play store. So I downloaded Disney Plus. And this was like hours before. I was thinking it was going to happen at maybe midnight, maybe 3 a.m.
Midnight, 3 a.m. or 6 a.m. One of those three things.
All these times going around. So, I'm like, quick, I download it. I grab a snapshot. I send it over to the team. Hey, let everybody know. So, and then they're tweeting it. And then, so I download it on that. Then I go check our Fire Stick. It's there, so I download it on the Fire Stick. Then I run over to the Roku, download it on the Roku.
How many devices do we have exactly?
Plenty. I still haven't put it on the Xbox, by the way. I haven't gone to check the Xbox.
Irony.
So, yeah. So I'm doing this, and then I'm browsing, and then I realize, wait, Doobie's not home yet. I can't watch anything yet.
Can't watch a thing. That's right. Doobie's at the gym getting a message that says, no, actually, you called me, and for some reason we kept disconnecting.
Oh, yeah, the phone kept disconnecting. You're like, what are you saying?
And then it's here. I'll be right home.
So it was, there was this ridiculous excitement. I mean, like 75% of this content is sitting in boxes.
Doesn't matter. The excitement we felt, the excitement the Disney community felt over this is insane. And I was just so excited to watch something. And what did we choose for our very first thing? Do you remember?
As a family.
As a family. I love this choice, by the way.
We sat down and we watched Forky Asks a Question.
Forky Asks a Question.
What is money?
What is money? 3 minutes of Disney Plus.
And laughed our heads off.
It was awesome.
We really enjoyed it.
It was awesome. Later on, we're going to talk about what our favorite Disney originals are. I'm going to keep Forky out of it because it was only 3 minutes long.
Right.
But that is my favorite thing on Disney Plus right now.
We had so much fun with that. Now our experiences was a little different because I had the opportunity to view quite a few programs previously. So what I ended up jumping into Disney Plus with was when it actually arrived was different than probably what would have happened if I had been coming to it incredibly fresh and unspoiled, as it were. But I did exactly what I expected I'd do. Is I started to look at extras and see what the other kinds of content were available. I started browsing around to see, what is there, what isn't there. Is this edited? Is it not edited? How do they handle things? So wow. As we've all seen, some of the classic content comes with a warning ahead of time letting you know that it's being presented unedited, as it was at the time it was created, and therefore may have some imagery that is questionable in the modern era. Is that how it words it?
Well, what's nice is this is video, so I'm going to put a screenshot of that right there on the screen.
Very good.
We don't have to try to get it right.
Right. So it's nice because it puts it in context. Let's see what else really grabbed you right away about it.
So what grabbed me right away is how nice the user interface is. It's got issues, but aside from the issues it has, it's beautiful. It's so attractive.
It is clean.
It makes a lot of sense. It's just fun to browse around.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily quick to browse around in terms of some of their user experience choices, so I'm not thrilled about that. But going from screen to screen is just a delightful experience. I'm very happy they got that right. Some of the collections they created, like when you click on search, there's a list of collections below.
Oh.
And I love the collection
the
they've created.
Disney of the Decades. Oh, that was epic. Yeah, I loved that.
So I like a lot of the choices they made. That's great.
And then what I discovered, I was looking to see which of the Aladdins they had, because I wasn't sure if the rights had given them, if they were going to be having the Will Smith yet. And so I started to search on Aladdin. And as I typed ALA, I realized dinosaur popped up. And I thought about, Aladar. And I just thought, that is amazing to me that, that if you type in the character of a film, in many cases, it will bring up the film that they're in, which is great if you're someone with kids, because you may not remember all the titles of the films that these characters are in, and your kids will remember mostly the character names. So they throw I don't watch Aladar, and you're like, oh, what? It may not necessarily sink in right away, and that's wonderful.
We did some searching, and that goes really, really deep.
Yes, it does.
With the characters. But then on the other hand, of course, some stuff you might expect, like if you type in Disneyland, you don't end up with the Imagineering special for some reason. And unfortunately, it does not search episodes. If you want to find a specific episode, like I typed in Simpsons Disneyland or Simpsons Duffland, and couldn't get anything to come up. But
and it's also very specific that sometimes if you go deeper into a word, then the ones you had will disappear. And so it's a bit quirky.
But you get what they want to do,
exactly.
So they're going to get it right as time goes on.
It'll be interesting to see how it moves, and also just how will it work with the consumer, because we've been using Netflix, we've been using Hulu, and these will interact with you in a different... This one, to me, is interacting with you in a slightly different way than those. How easy is it going to be to retrain the consumer a bit? So it'll be interesting to see over time how that evolves, because Netflix and Hulu have even transitioned over the years as well. So
one thing I know Rebekah likes to do is check out social media and see what they have to say about Disney Plus. So what did you find?
I think that my favorite thing throughout the day was just seeing how wide a variety of shows mattered to people. Like, not everybody was... Okay, everybody was excited about Mandalorian, I think.
Everybody.
No, yeah, just about. But you also had Brink. Who knew? It's a DCOM from... I think maybe 2009, an inline skate story. And not only was it mentioned on the Levitard show as one of the guys there was looking forward to, and another guy on the cast there chimed in with, "Oh yeah!" So apparently popular with them. And then I noticed quite a few tweets about it. So
I like the people who just they've become addicted to their childhood again. Like, I mean, part of what Disney Plus is selling is nostalgia. And the number of people who are saying things like, I've been up all night watching Disney Plus.
Yep.
And not because they're watching all the original content. They're watching stuff they've seen before. And, despite the fact we may live in this community where we see it all the time, for them, a lot of them, they haven't seen this in 20 years. And it's just flooding the memories and the nostalgia bank.
Okay, one of my more favorites was the one, it used that GIF of Denzel Washington. And the tweet, I know you're going to put it on the screen, but it was, when you think only the new DuckTales are on Disney Plus, but then you scroll down and you see the DuckTales from your youth.
Which reminded me of this tweet, which is one of my favorites. I found it interesting to go to the front page of Disney Plus and the trending section to see what people are watching. And I'm just going to it right now, but up until this very second, every time I'd went, Simpsons was actually number one, which is funny. It's one thing I haven't seen at all. But
that's hysterical.
Finally, Simpsons has dropped to number 2. Mandalorian is number 1. Probably everyone got to watch it because the next one drops in a few hours.
But it's just so incredible to me what they've managed to do with this app, and I don't know. I'm so excited for where it can go. And an example of why I'm excited was today on YouTube they dropped the As Told by emoji for Captain Marvel. Go to Disney Plus, go to extras, it's there. Now, I hadn't checked the extras of Captain Marvel, so I don't know if maybe that had dropped with the app. But
it's the fact
it's
that they
new.
Associated with it.
Yeah, yes. Exactly.
It wasn't on the Blu-ray or the DVD.
And
yet
so the idea that they can make this be a dynamic library, maybe even improving upon your extras content, right?
Can you imagine if they have... Because I'm sure Disney Parks did some kind of a video of the Captain Marvel meet and greet once that opened at Disneyland. Can you imagine if they made that a part of the Captain Marvel extras, stuff like that? That would be... I love what they can do. Or
they just did this Q&A on the Star Wars Facebook and everything with the Mandalorian cast and crew. What if we were to see that then appear on the extras within a short window. That kind of thing. So that way, if you're not necessarily dynamically active within the social media realm per se, you would still get some of this content, because not everybody is all over Facebook and YouTube, and so this is yet just another avenue for them to get content to you.
And so hopefully Disney
and
does
aggregate it,
take full advantage of all their entities and not just stick to the studios when it comes to this stuff. Now, a big selling point, of course, the library, the nostalgia, that was huge, but the original content is, that's what's really going to sell it for a lot of people, for certain people. And so it was funny. We heard so much about original content leading up to this, all the different things they'd announced, that in my head, here comes 500 shows of original content. But no, at this point, there's really 12, 12. Which is
and a lot of those are shorts, right?
And a lot of those are short. So really, there's just 2 films and just a handful of series. So we're going to talk about some of them. We haven't seen all of them, but between us, we've seen most of them. What are some that stand out in your mind, Rebecca?
Well, obviously, The Mandalorian was amazing.
Awesome.
I'll be honest. The marketing. Okay, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm not uber passionate about it. I love Star Wars. But especially the original trilogy. Okay, I've been okay with everything since then. But when I was little, I loved it. And I read all the books, no, I shouldn't say all, because there's so many of them.
I know.
I read many of the books. I used to collect. Yeah, no, that would be the wrong sci-fi. Stop. Just stop. It hurts. It's physically painful when you do that. Okay, give me a moment. So, I've read a lot of the extended universe that now is no longer canon. That kind of thing. But this particular marketing, it felt too Western for me, which I've never really been a Western fan. I've never been really much for the dusty, aged setting but I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this far more than I expected. It had humor to it that I appreciated. It had Easter eggs that were enjoyable.
Enough Easter eggs for like 4 or 5 Easters, I think.
It was rather amazing. And it had elements that make you go, okay, where are they going with this?
And we're going to keep it spoiler-free, obviously, but wow.
Yeah, and so you're just like, okay, where are we going? And I'm excited, and I'm interested to see where the story's going to go. I loved the music. I'm so glad the score came out streaming.
I listened to that score twice today. I can't remember the last time I intentionally listened to a score once.
Yeah.
And I listened to it twice. And then I put the TV show on in the car just so I could hear the score, the audio in context on the way home.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm in love with the audio of this thing. And the visual, too, but it's amazing.
Oh, and Laughing Place has a great write-up on the composer. So Mike C. wrote it up.
And we also have a nice Easter egg article that Mike C's created.
Yeah,
just put that up as we record this, put that up today. So, and Mike C., because of who he is, has already seen episodes 2 and 3. He's getting those reviews
done. Is he excited?
And I asked him, I said, is this going to hold up? And he says, it most definitely holds up. So
I saw a tweet, excited. I think it may have been from Slash Film, that pretty much said, if you thought episode 1 was amazing, I'm sorry, chapter 1 was amazing, just, you wait. So
Mandalorian, very exciting.
It was very impressive.
I think the show that they had most close to Mandalorian, if we kind of want to go on a spectrum from one side to the other, would be The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
It was as delightful as I had hoped it would be.
It was. This one was on sneakers.
Which I was able to see the 2 episodes, and this was my lesser favorite of the 2 that I saw. So I'm excited for you to see the next topic.
I didn't think I was a Jeff Goldblum fan, and when I watched it the first time, kind of half paying attention, I'm like, yeah, this is fine. But then I decided, I'm going to give this another chance. So I watched it again today, and I actually quite liked it. Jeff Goldblum.
It's a delightful character
Jeff Goldblum manages to be that annoying kind of character I don't like, but because he knows he is, it's able to work.
He's self-aware.
Yeah, he's self-aware that I'm playing a character that Doobie doesn't like, and therefore, it's good.
I enjoy his willing ignorance and his delight in the simple.
Yeah, It's got some really, really good moments in it. That
One
had me laughing out loud.
of my favorite moments is when he's at that sneaker con and and that deal is happening over his shoulder and he is like, don't listen. And he covers his, he like pretends like he's covered, and he's like, just don't listen to what's going on back there.
My favorite
It's
moment.
hard not to listen. I was delighted.
I loved when he was on the basketball court with the street ballers talking about, my best days are ahead of me. So, all right. How about Lady and the Tramp?
I have only seen the opening segment of it, so I'll have to defer to your taste.
I saw the entire show today. I will tell you, not a big fan. How much can you dislike Lady and the Tramp?
It's a delightful dog movie, right?
But
the dogs are cute, right? Everybody loves the dogs. You're not a fan of the dogs? They're talking dogs.
The dogs are cute, but they're talking. Talking animated dogs are awesome.
You don't do that.
Talking live action dogs are silly.
I have to.
I almost got into the Bella Notte scene going, wow. And then I realized these were just a couple of dogs, and I all of a sudden started picturing what the set must have been like with people with the hand commands and the barking orders.
Are you serious? Oh, you just can't let go, can you?
I can't. They're dogs.
That is funny.
They're dogs. So that's not at the top of my list. On the other hand, Nowell, the Christmas movie that kicked off Disney Plus. What did you think of Nowell?
She is delightful. Anna Kendrick?
Yes.
Oh, so delightful. And I wanted to like it more. I thought it was great. I enjoyed it very much, but it has a few little turns in it that, okay, first of all, let me just say, there are gazillions of holiday movies. I'm a Hallmark movie addict, as my husband knows, because he has to enjoy and endure some of them. And constantly asks me, haven't we seen this movie before? Wait, is that a snowball fight they're having? Oh, wait, is that a kitchen fight they're having?
Play Hallmark bingo.
Yes. And so this was one of those where it just a few little tweaks, and for me, it could have been repeat holiday classic. And instead, it's just going to be among the gazillions of holiday films. Not the, oh, wait, I've seen that. I don't know. I have no use for that one again because there's too many other good ones to choose from. But like I say,
not an instant classic.
No, not an instant classic. Just a couple of little tweaks for me.
So this, despite the fact you liked it, we still may differ the most on this one because I completely loved it.
Yes, you did.
I thought it was incredible. I love the world that they built, this world of how Christmas works and how Santa works, and then bringing that world to the rest of the world was just so wonderful. I so hope they do sequels just so we can get more of that type of world. And it was hilarious. I laughed out loud so many times. And I realized, we're talking hokey jokes. We're not talking highbrow.
What was it?
Whenever the carolers would sing, I would laugh like crazy.
I'm with you there. The carolers were epic.
Just some of the quick drops they would put in using their Christmas lingo. Like I may have, every time she'd say, he's naughty. That just cracked me up because she's saying it as in the Christmas world. And
right,
that's how they judge people, naughty or nice.
Yeah.
And
did you like the yogurt pants line?
Okay, I laughed so hard at that.
For some reason, I knew you would.
I laughed so hard at that. I love Nowell, and yes, it'll become Christmas viewing for me, but more than that, I really hope they do a Nowell 2 Electric Boogaloo.
I would very much enjoy seeing how this film transforms the North Pole from the way we see the North Pole at the beginning of the film to what happens throughout the film, and then where does the North Pole go from there? Where does our holiday Christmas go from there based upon what happened up there? So yeah, you really enjoyed it when Santa is finally delivering presents towards the end of the film.
I hope this isn't a spoiler, but when Santa goes down the chimney and ends up in the Jewish house and they're eating Chinese food. That was great.
You loved it because it's true.
It's so true.
Oh, it's lovely.
High School Musical, the musical, the series, the longest titled original.
I saw this premiere with an audience at the D23 Expo, and as I sat there watching it, I thought this film was made for Marshall. And those of you who have been longtime listeners or readers of Laughing Place know Marshall Knight has been a frequent contributor to Laughing Place and has also been involved in the podcast from time to time as well. And I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but this was built to me by theater, for theater, and Marshall is theater. And so as I sat there, and there were these two young ladies in front of me who I suspect are from the same generation as Marshall, which I am older than. And when Corbin Bleu came out to conduct the interviews at the premiere event with the cast of this new series, I thought they were going to lose their minds. It was they obviously were very passionate about the original series, which is why I'm bringing it up. They were passionate about the original High School Musical, and they thoroughly enjoyed this. And so, to me, I feel like it's hit all the right notes. In regards to where you want the series, where the fun way to explore that series now in a different way.
In a way, kind of like The Office, which
yes.
is essentially what it was. And I did not expect to like this very much at all, and I liked it a lot.
You really loved it, didn't
I did.
you?
It was very funny. I wouldn't go as far as love, but the characters are great. There's some in there I really like.
I did like the characters
and look forward to their episodes. You know, right now they're just very much in the background. I hope it's not a spoiler. When he sings that song, it was so nice.
Dude, I melted.
It was great, and it's really enjoyable. It's really fun, light, enjoyable, fun. I like that they've taken a franchise that's huge for them and put a completely different twist on it.
Exactly.
And brought it to Disney Plus. So just a genius idea. I look forward to it.
And as you're enjoying the series, be sure to check out Marshall's recaps, because it will be like watching it with your best bud, because his write-ups are phenomenal.
Oh, wow, that's a different show. Encore you have not seen, right?
I have not seen, because it is not... I'm not a theater person, and I don't enjoy those where they have people come... I don't enjoy the reunion shows.
Encore is like so many other reality shows where you get the background of people and then put them through something and people cry and stuff. But... And I hate shows like that.
Sounds lovely.
I hate shows like that. Not a lot of crying. A little lighter than those can often be.
Okay.
I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. What I really enjoyed about it, you find all these people who were in high school. That's what this was about. You know, they were in high school.
Okay, they were
they
did high school theater together.
Yeah,
and
they
now
did a production of Annie in high school, and now they're going to redo it as adults. I don't know, probably 20 years later.
Right.
And they're a bunch of happy people. They're married. They've got kids. They're not wishing they were back in high school. They're not going, what have I done with my life? They've grown up. They're adults. They're having a blast doing this, and then they're happy to go back to their life.
That's cool.
Something very heartwarming about that, as opposed to what you often see is...
if only I could live in high school again.
Yeah, or
live in whatever.
Been.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's lovely.
It made me feel good about what I've done with my life, which is pretty much...
Sit around and talk
nothing.
about Disney on a podcast.
All right. There were some shorts on there as well. Forky asked a question, which we already talked about, which was hilarious.
I will say The Legends of the Three Caballeros, which is a series that had been released internationally but had not yet been released in the U.S., is a favorite of my nephew, who's like toddler age, and apparently the family is able to watch a movie on D+ and then be told, duck, watch duck.
Get back to the duck.
Yeah, get back more duck. I want more duck. So
Disney Family Sundays is a kind of a DIY show on crafting and stuff, which was fine if you're into that stuff, which I am most definitely not. Pixar in Real Life, another very short, was 6 minutes long. And
I wasn't a big fan.
Even at 6 minutes, I think they could have cut about 2/3 of it out, and it would have been the same experience.
Yeah, that one didn't work. But it's just a single episode so far, so we'll have to...
Who knows what the next ones will be. Neither of us have seen any of the Spark shorts, so we won't talk about that. But I feel like we're forgetting something. What could that... I know. The Imagineering story.
What did you think?
Wow, I've seen and read more about Disney theme park history than maybe our whole audience combined, because we have a relatively small audience. But I learned so much watching this, and not only learned, but it was put together in such an interesting and fascinating way that I wasn't bored for 1 second. I mean, there was so much hype around this, and it delivered so well, and it's only one episode so far. I'm so excited for the Imagineering story.
I can't believe how compelling they made a story and a series of events be that I've heard so much about. It wasn't necessarily that I learned anything new, but that I just saw it in a different way. And it was really fascinating to think about the ridiculously talented and outside the box. I mean, if you've ever spent any time around a creative genius, you know that they have unique vision and are compelled many times to follow that vision. And somehow Walt managed to gather 12 or so of these people. And I thought Tony Baxter's, it was Tony Baxter who described it as like a band or an orchestra where everybody plays their role. I think it was Tony B who said that, sitting up there overlooking the beautiful rivers of America. Oh, that was just so beautiful. But in fact, there was a tweet I saw that said something like, I'd watch a show called Tony sitting on a roof talking about Disneyland. But that's what I had not really thought of in that way. Just how talented Walt Disney was in getting all of those powerfully creative people, amazing geniuses in their own ways, to be able to get a project done.
And it's not easy to get geniuses to work together.
Well, and you can see how challenging it was when you look at the Haunted Mansion, honestly, because Walt passed away before that was completed, and you can see how in some ways people still talk about it in a way that's kind of schizophrenic.
Yeah, it's like two different attractions.
Yeah,
basically.
and to some extent you could argue similarly for Epcot with its two worlds. So it's just like I say, it was very, that's the note I took away from this particular special, that I had an element. I knew he was good at it, but I didn't realize, but it didn't really hit me quite how profoundly good at it he was until I was listening to Alice talk about the talent of Mary Blair, and I was listening to Bob Gurr and others talking about how they were kind of all in their own little zones, as it were. Not separated, I don't mean like that, but just like, we did our thing and they did their thing, and we would talk to each other, and then we would, and then when they were doing the Lincoln, engineering would say, well, we need this piece, and they didn't really focus too much on the asking a gazillion. It sounded like, we need a piece that does X. And they didn't get a big, long explanation of why they needed a piece that did X. They were just told, we need a piece that does X. And so the people who know how to make a piece that does X made it the best they knew how to make it. And then, the next thing would happen. It was just very cool.
The other thing that came through to me, because this is a series, and, I'm sure he'll be in other episodes one way or another, but this is more or less chronological from what I understand. So Walt is dead at the end of this episode. The reverence that these people have for Walt Disney, even 50 years after his death, and the emotion that they have when talking about him. I mean, he was not an easy person to work for. He was a taskmaster. He wasn't one to throw out praise, and not
according to their stories.
According to their stories, yeah, this is what they say, and yet they loved Walt Disney, and it comes through so much. And I don't know, there's something very powerful about that. A lot of people hate bosses that are like that, even brilliant bosses that are like that. I just feel like he was unique.
Yes.
It comes across that he was unique. He was genius. He was tough. He was fun. He was a kid. He just, as they say, I think as they said at some point, or I know I've read obituary, we'll never see his likes again. I mean, right. And that was really, really special, just hearing these people talk about Walt Disney that way. That was a great time.
It was very impressive, and I'm super excited to see where the series goes. I've seen the next episode where Roy and the team have to carry on without Walt, and then they also discuss the fact that Tokyo opportunities develop around that same time, and just the thought of where the Disney company was at that point is really it's fascinating to hear and see these stories, because these stories, now we're getting into stories that weren't as well documented for us fans in the same way. So I'm excited to see how this is received, especially especially given that Epcot is currently in the midst of a renaissance, a recreation,
we'll find out
redefinition. Yeah, no, I don't know what it's going to be deemed eventually, but it'll be very interesting to have the fan base exposed to Epcot's formation, creation. At the same time, it's in the midst of this massive redesign.
So, Rebekah, how would you rank your top 3 of the Disney Plus original?
So I'm going to go with, the way I'm going to rank it is the next chapter. What am I most looking forward to the next chapter? And for me, I'll give you the one that's like the bottom of the list, which is ridiculous. But it would be the Mandalorian. Mandalorian, while it had a moment that you went, huh? Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm actually looking forward to more some other programming, some of the other original programming. But it's ridiculous because it's a coin flip. Okay. It'll really depend on what drops first.
And then,
you want me to go all the way through? Oh, okay. And then I would say next after that would be the Jeff Goldblum series, because I very much enjoyed that, and I look forward to the next one. And then ultimately, it's the Imagineering story is the one that I'm on the edge of my seat. It's a little challenging for me to talk about all of this because I've seen all of these. So I think maybe after a week or two, I'll really know which is my most favorite, because it's hard. Because right now I say Jeff Goldblum, I've already seen it. I say Imagineering, I've already seen it. But those
not seen the Mandalorian.
But those are the ones that I'm most looking forward to. I want to see more of it because I just had so much fun being in the worlds that those creative teams created.
My number 3 would be Nowell. I will say I'm looking forward to seeing a sequel. My number 2 and 1 could flip by the end of the season, but at this point, I would say my number 2 is the Imagineering story, which is incredible, and I enjoy watching that with my family, my son. Pause. But
oh, dude, so many pause. Let's look at that more. Rewind.
But my number 1 would still be The Mandalorian. It was so good, and I just have a feeling it's going to get even better. Finally, a reason for Disney to purchase Star Wars.
Finally. So as I think about Disney Plus, overall, ecstatic. It is what I hoped for. It is what I wished for, as far as the ease of use, as far as the overall library. And given the way that social media has evolved and the current state of interaction online and everything, it's Disney Plus to me couldn't have come along at a better time. It's almost like, I don't know exactly how to put it, but it's almost like a new theme park in some ways, in that it's something that we can all explore together. So it's just the idea of what's ahead as far as the Disney fan community and all the things that we can now, the fun that we can have, not just in a tangible location, but in this ethereal online universe that they've kind of begun to develop. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about this. Is like, to me, just the beginning. It's amazing, and I'm just overwhelmed by it, but the possibilities are extremely exciting.
And you know who we have to thank for this? Michael Eisner. Because, I mean, he recommended Bob Iger. He hired him, recommended him,
okay. I was like,
here we are.
How do we... He had a nice tweet today.
Yes, that's going to be on the screen right now. That's why I said it.
So very, very, very exciting, and that's what we've been doing this week.
That's what we've been doing this week. I have a feeling that's what we'll be doing next week, but we'll probably find some other stuff to do so we can...
I really want to check out some of these new Disney Parks holiday offerings.
Yes,
so I'm excited.
Watching a lot of video.
Yeah, I'm excited to check those out, and maybe learning a bit more about...
Right now, Rebekah is actually wearing a Mike Wazowski shirt.
I am.
And Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor has a holiday version. So
that's so wild, yeah. Yeah, so it'll be fun to explore what else is going on at the parks, and we'll have more stuff to share with everybody next time.
So see you next week for episode 4, Attack of the Clones. Oh, A New Hope. I hope we'll be there. That's embarrassing. Go read Inzadi. Catch up on your Star Wars.
Oh, ouch. It hurts. It physically hurts.